So, with everything that's been going on lately between the uprisings, the economic ups and downs, Trump going all in on white nationalism to kick his 2020 campaign back in, I realized it's been a hot minute since I checked in on where we are with coronavirus. Uh, it's slowly but surely just like becoming part of our normal life. It's been out there for so long. So much so that in the wake of all these state reopenings and, going back to normal to get the economy moving again, it seems that coronavirus is now spiking in a whole bunch of places. Nearly 5,000 new cases a day in Florida, Texas, Arizona, California. There's a whole bunch of states with a massive uptick, most of them being ones that didn't really take a lockdown seriously to begin with. So now that the quote second wave is kicking in, all of a sudden, local municipalities, cities, towns, counties are starting to pass mandatory mask laws because when they had the voluntary mask laws, not enough people wore masks. This did not go over very well. So I have a tape queued up here that CNN had of a local board meeting in Palm Beach County, Florida, where they just reinstituted or they instituted a mandatory mask policy, I believe by a unanimous decision. This was not a popular decision in Trump's backyard. I'm just going to let you watch this and then we'll discuss.
At a commissioners' meeting in Florida's Palm Beach County, anger erupted after a unanimous vote to make masks mandatory. This turned downright ugly. Here was the scene.
You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people. And we the people are waking up, and we know what citizens arrest is because citizens arrests are already happening. Okay? And every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested. And you, doctor, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity.
The problem with humanity today is ignorance, arrogance, and apathy. Keep taking the road of least resistance. Keep listening to the TV brainwashing you from birth.
And they want to throw God's wonderful breathing system out the door. You're all turning your backs on it.
Doctor, I really have many question marks about your degrees and what you really know. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't think that you are worthy of your credentials. And I would ask suggestively that you go back to school and get educated.
Okay, so masks are one of the...
Okay, so there's a lot of crazy to unpack there. So I'm going to throw this out there, and then we can tackle this problem. So basically, your no mask people are the no vaccine people. Only now they have a physical, tangible thing to point at, rather than just randomly claiming that that vaccines cause autism, and then coming up with a whole bunch of reasons why they're sovereign citizens and that's why they don't need to be vaccinated, even though vaccines aren't mandated to live in society. They're only mandated to go to public school. But anyway, my liberty and my freedom. So basically, your anti-vaxers are your anti-maskers, only now they have a mask to point at. And instead of pointing to the one horrible Wakefield study that claimed vaccines cause autism, that had a control group of 3 kids, real good science there. Now they have the masks, and of course all these people who didn't go to college and don't have a medical degree, who all of a sudden overnight became experts in vaccines and biochemistry because YouTube and blogs. Now all of a sudden they're experts on the medical problems which are caused by masks. So let's go through the statement of the first woman who said wearing masks are going to kill you. This is a horrible trope that got started, of course, on the internet. So there are two random conditions that affect a very small portion of the population in a negative way. And you're talking about hypoxia and hypercapnia, which are essentially where your body gets starved for oxygen and or you get too much carbon dioxide in your blood. So these are the memes that get passed around on Facebook explaining to people that if you wear a mask, you're going to die. Now, number one, masks don't kill you. And cloth masks and the standard non-N95 masks literally reduce your oxygen flow by like 3%. And there's absolutely no negative value from wearing them. N95 masks, yes, if you wear them for an extended period of time, they will cut off somewhere between 10 to 12% of your oxygen intake. Now, I will say that all across the world, for the last 100 years or so, there are a number of jobs and occupations where people are forced to wear a mask 4, 6, 8 hours at a clip. That would include nurses, doctors, surgeons, auto body repairmen, drywallers. These are all people who wear masks for hours at a time. Guess what? They're not getting hypoxia. They're not getting hypercapnia. The only people who get affected by this are people who have pre-existing respiratory conditions. So let's stop saying that wearing masks kill people. Now, again, much like the autism thing, people are going to point to like 0.0001% of the population who have a breathing disorder, wear a mask, get dizzy from wearing a mask, say they have hypoxia, and then the millions of anti-vaxxers around the country will all scream, if you wear masks, you're going to die because of hypoxia. It's the ranting and raving of lunatics who literally get all their education from YouTube. And by the way, if you're watching this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below so you can get more of my opinions here on this YouTube channel. Let's continue. Sorry, gang, I had to do it. So again, these symptoms very rarely happen. People have been wearing masks for hours at a time for well over a century now. I assure you there is not a spate of surgeons across the world dropping dead 3 hours into a surgery because my mask, okay? That's not a thing, okay? This is anti-vaxxers trying to convince you that wearing a mask is going to kill you because apparently they know a shit ton about mask technology and respiration. Which, I mean, they did master everything about biochemistry and autism in 3 days, so I guess it's not that far-fetched, but again, I digress. So now what's happened is these same people have started putting up these things. This is a homemade face mask exempt card that somebody made up. It says, I am exempt from any ordinance requiring face mask usage in public. Wearing a face mask possesses a mental and or physical risk to me. Under the Americans with Disability Act, I am not required to disclose my condition to you. If found in violation of the ADA, you could face steep penalties. Organizations and businesses can be fined up to $75,000 for your first violation, $150,000 for any subsequent violations. Big letters. Denying access to your business or organization will also be reported to the FTBA for further actions. That's right. People are printing these cards and running around with them and shoving them in people's faces in Walmart and going, I don't have to wear a mask. I got this card. Freedom and liberty. Yeah. So a few things about this little mess over here, okay? Number one, wearing a face mask poses a risk to, again, 2.0001% of the population that has a pre-existing respiratory condition. If millions of people go out and make homemade cards and start claiming medical exemptions, really all you're doing is shitting on people who have an actual medical condition because you're concerned with your own individual liberty and freedom as opposed to the health and well-being of every last person around you because you are a selfish piece of crap, okay? So this does not entitle you to put other people at risk. I know you want to put other people at risk because your freedom and liberty allows it, and good Lord, that's the most important thing in the world. But some of us are really getting sick of watching America throwing 1,000 grandmothers a day into the volcano as a sacrifice to the great golden bull god to make the line go up. And just because it makes you all happy or semi-chubby doesn't mean the rest of us have to go along with your fanatical farce that you have going on in your head that somehow this is a good thing, okay? If you are actually at risk from wearing a mask, then guess what? You're somebody who has a respiratory condition or a severe medical condition, and you are the last person who should be going out in public exposing yourself to a potentially deadly disease. Okay? Number 3, the ADA that they're citing here, the Americans with Disability Act, doesn't allow you to supersede, whether they are temporary, emergency, or permanent, city, county, or state laws, i.e. mask requirements, okay? The ADA only requires that a reasonable accommodation be provided. In most instances, this reasonable accommodation is, well, since you don't want to wear a mask and you can't because, you have a problem, we'll provide you with curbside service. Just give me the list, and then we'll come out and bring this to you so that you don't have to expose yourself to all of these people. Okay? That's what the ADA requires. The ADA does not require you hold up a card in front of people and scream, immunity! Because again, that's not a thing and you're a selfish dick.